Alright, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I want to actually go over more on what the legacy prime plan actually offers. But before I actually do that, I actually want to show you basically my weekly recap for the week. So basically on my Topstep account, as you can see, I have 5 funded accounts at the moment, and this fund account is currently up around over $5,000 in balance, and I'll be requesting for a payout maybe after next week. On my personal life cash account, I'm actually currently up over $90,000, and this is on my Ninja Trader account on just trading futures. And I'll basically show you exactly on what I basically what I did in this process. Okay. All right. Let's begin. So basically on my Topstep account, I'm gonna actually exit out of this. So basically on my Topstep account, I'm using just the Swift Algo X indicator, right? The link for this will be in my description if you want to check this out. It's very beginner friendly. So basically I trade on the 1 minute time frame. Okay, I trade on the 1 minute time frame. I choose the indicator sensitivity as 5 minutes, and then risk to reward, I keep this as a 1:1. Max stop loss size filter percentage, I set that to a 0.3, and I do check this box. Okay, email line, I keep this by default 300, and then calculated bars, I keep this by default 5,000. That's really all I do with this one. And for the style tab, like this is actually personal preference. I usually just uncheck these three. I put this third level thickness. Same thing with this one, third level thickness. And then I put this 50% shaded on all 4 of them. And then I uncheck this box, but that's all I do in the style tab. This is based on personal preference. And then I also have the ConFlux advanced version on my screen as well. The link for this will be in my description. These are the only 2 indicators I use, and basically what I do with this one is that, okay, so I update this basically once, basically before Asian session starts. So you have to adjust based on your time zone. For me, I live in California, so I'm on the PST, so futures market closes between 2 p.m. to about 3 p.m. So if anything changes in this dashboard, then I will actually update the settings. If nothing changes, I'll leave it as is. But let's say if it took a trade, let's say like at 6, 7 p.m. my time PST, it took a loss, the settings will update. I will change. If it took a win, but the settings still updated, I will still change. I basically do that only on the first trade. And sometimes I may actually update it as needed because I'm usually home at that time, so I can easily update it anytime I want. So I may actually update it as needed if there's a drastic change in it. But usually after the first trade, if the first trade is a winner and if I'm satisfied with it, I will turn off my automation. And how you turn the automation off is, for example, let's say you make the alert. I'm just giving you guys an example. So you click add alert, create. Alerts. So I have an alert added. I will pause by clicking on this. Then my automation is paused. To resume, I'll click on this again to resume the automation. So that's basically how I pause and resume with one simple click. But let's say if I have no trades when I'm awake, then obviously I have to go to sleep, and then it can still trade during Asian London session if I'm still asleep, right? So I wake up, I see the profits, I'm satisfied with it, I'm satisfied from Asia and London session, so I'm turning off my automation before New York session. Okay, there's no need to trade in New York if you win trades during the night. Okay, but if I have no trades from Asia in London session, then I'll keep New York session on because I can still win trades in New York session. Okay, that's basically my strategy. And I create separated layout. I have one layout basically for evals. I am more aggressive with evals. I do one contract of NQ for evals. My personal best in passing is in 3 days. One pass in 4, one pass in 6, but usually you can pass within a week on average. But my personal best with this was actually 3 days. Okay, but note, if it does go against you, it can easily blow your account. Okay, for me, I can easily pay for another reset, but some people may not have that budget. It just depends. That's just the more of the aggressive approach. Okay, for me, you can also do conservative by doing M and Q instead if you want, and just by doing 7 contracts. Even with 7 contracts, it took me about 2 weeks, probably no more than 3 weeks to pass. I think my best was actually in 12 days was my minimum. Or you can do 5 contracts, 4 contracts. It just depends how conservative you want to be. But I probably would suggest 7 to 10 contracts. You want to pass these things within a month. You don't want to be taking evals for more than a month, right? And then basically on funded accounts, so I have one layout for evals and one account for funded. When it comes to funded accounts, I usually do about 4 contracts of M&Q at the start. And then after I get my balance up, I'll increase to 5, 6, and 7 contracts. That's how you scale up. But I would suggest probably 4 contracts minimum. That's just what I do. You do whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay. And the ConFlux Advanced version is available on the Legacy Basic plan, which you do get the Smart Money Concept Toolkit in the ConFlux Advanced, and access to my Discord community as well as my coaching mentorship, all for $20 per month. So I highly recommend this. It basically turns Swift Algo X from an indicator to a full functioning strategy. So keep this a single. This one by signal only, sell signal only. And then you have to adjust your contract size here. Since I'm on my funded layout, I do 4 contracts. I don't use martingale feature. I uncheck on trading windows because typically I do trade this all 3 sessions other than New York if I don't need to. Then after that, I keep everything as is. Exit method. I use indicated exit method for this one, and then I do, obviously take profit, then stop loss, then take profit, and then stop loss. You can copy my settings. That's all I do. I still set this to 4 contracts, but it actually goes off based on this number. And then I check all 3. Use bar magnify. This is only available on the premium plan. So obviously, if you don't have the premium plan, then you cannot check this. Style tab, I just uncheck this. Visibility, leave it as is, and that's basically my settings. And as you can see, so basically the benefits for using the ConFlux is that you only have to create 1 alert. With Swift Algo X, you have to create 1 buy, 1 sell, 1 take profit, and 1 stop loss. As you can see, with ConFlux, it's just 1 alert only with the ConFlux, and you're able to view the strategy report. So you'll see it did 1.6K, 402, 100%. Any trades, you can see the list of trades right there. So pretty good stuff. And obviously, it does have these break even feature, martingale feature, which you don't get with an indicator. And you can also adjust the time filtering option. If you're trading futures prop firms, you have the option to close at the end of the session, which is actually pretty good stuff. Obviously, you can also adjust the precision sizing there. Basically, you get additional features that you don't actually get with an indicator, okay? But when it comes to using the indicator exit method, there has been some issues of it closing basically at candle close and not really at the wick. So I don't really have an example right now, but let me actually show you an easier method to do this. All right, so I'm on my Topstep X dashboard. So basically what I do is, so if you go to the settings tab under risk settings, you got these position brackets. Topstep has them. This is the Project X trading platform. So you will need to actually check with your broker or prop firm. If you're using Topstep, then there's no issues. So basically what I do, this is actually with funded accounts, right? So I set a risk to 600. So and then I set a profit of $300. So whenever the algo enters a trade, it executes on Topstep, right? And then it's going to place a profit of 300 and a stop loss of 600 onto the chart automatically as a safety net. Okay, I may actually change this maybe down to, I don't know, maybe 300 actually. I may change this to 300, that's to 300, but we'll actually see. And for take profit, I may actually increase this maybe to 400 or 500 dollars to liquidate in block. But this will actually all depend on what you're comfortable with, what your personal preference is. Okay, this is just whenever it enters a trade, it automatically sets a take profit and stop loss onto the chart. So if it hits this take profit, the trade will close. If it hit this before the exit signaled by Swift Algo or by ConFlux, you will get a rejection order, a rejection notification, letting you know that the order was rejected because there was no trade onto the chart. Because why? It exited already. So expect that if this hits before the exit execution, if that makes sense, okay? And this is just my daily limit. So if I reach 500, it's gonna block me for the rest of the day until next Asia session, whichever comes first. So it's all about having great risk management, okay? Now, if you're trading a prop, if you're trading an eval, I'll usually restrict this to 1500. I don't actually do a stop loss for this one because I'm going all in, and this one none. I may actually also set this to 1500 too because of slippage and delay. Sometimes it may go above that 1500, which means I'm gonna be, having an additional. That's a real violation right there. So I only set a TP of 1500 because it's one of the proper rules to stay within that consistency. But that's what I do for the evals. Okay. Let me. I usually shoot. Okay. So let me X out of this. So that's basically what I personally do, and basically, how would I know how would I know what take profit and stop loss limit to set? So I go to the strategy basically report, and then I'm gonna basically look at what are the most common take profit and stop loss. So I'm seeing, so I like to go back to last 30 days so I can have more data. Give a few minutes to load. Okay, so I'm seeing 300. Oh, this was actually no. This trade doesn't count because this was a continuation trade from Friday. So there was a huge weekend gap, so that one doesn't count. But I'm seeing 300, 300. So if it reaches basically negative 300, you see negative 300, I'm probably most likely going to lose the trade. So I may set the stop loss to 300, and I'm seeing 300, 400 to be the average TP. I may do maybe a 350 for the take profit, but you look at these trades and see. So see 800, yeah, 500, 300. So it seems like based on the data from the search report, it seems like obviously if I'm down 300, I'm most likely going to be losing the trade. So I'm probably going to set the risk stop loss to be 300, and then maybe 350 or 400 for the TP. Because I'm seeing 400, 500 to be the average. So that will actually all depend on you, but that's basically how I actually utilize the strategy report. But basically that's all with that. And also the third party platform I'm actually using is actually called traderspost.io. The link will be in my description, and if you use my discount code legacy 2026, you do get a discount. And there's also 7-day free trial with Traders Post as well. So I would highly recommend grabbing that code, and so you can get a discount to do automation. Right. So the next indicator I'm gonna basically show you is going to be the legacy on Gravity Stratos. All right, so this will only be available on the legacy prime plan. The legacy prime plan does include everything in basic, followed by the basically all the indicators in the prime plan, which is basically four plus two of them strategies. You do get access to my coaching as well as my Discord group as well. That's going to be for $40 per month. Price will go up to 50 in the next couple of months, so I would recommend locking in right now. And I'm also working on a couple of additional strategies as well. And I'm not gonna explain all the indicators or all the strategies all in this video because it will be too long. So in this video, I'm basically gonna show you the Gravity Stratos first, and then the next video I'll show you the next indicator. So it's gonna be a series of videos. But one of my favorite indicators I love using is the Gravity Stratos. This is meant for more of manual trading. So basically what I do with this one is I go to Style tab, right? So there's a couple of strategies you can do with the upper band, the gravity bands, which is these gray, green midline, upper, midline, and lower band. They are different from Bollinger Bands. Add both of them on the screen, you will see that they are both calculated differently, right? So I like to make this the highest level of thickness, and then this the highest level of thickness. I like to make this second level of thickness. That's just based on personal preference, and I don't really need to see these basically buy and sell labels. They're not needed. You can use them if you want, but I personally don't use it in my strategy. And then I don't need this extra data as well, so I'm gonna uncheck that. Panel labels, I'm gonna uncheck that too. Visibility, leave it as is. That's all I do for style tab, okay? And then I keep these two check as well. I may do 6.8 for this one, for the gravity bands deviation. But that's all I do with the settings, okay? And like I said, this is meant more for manual trading. And then I like to do Renkos. Renkos is something that's only available on the premium plan. And then I like to do 1 second data. On 1 second data, anything less than 1 minute will be only on the premium plan, right? And then what I like to do is I go to the settings. You right click on the chart, go to the settings. I go to symbol. I make sure I'm on traditional and then box size 5. That will depend on person preference. So basically, what are Renkos? So Renkos is another type of a strategy. So if you're trading, for example, let's do NQ. I always do the front month continuous contract in Q1. So this basically means we know 1 NQ moves $20 per point, right? So meaning every box represents 5 points because I'm on box size 5, right? So obviously 5 multiply that by 20. So meaning every box represents $100. So meaning if I entered on this box, moved, I would gain 100, 200, 300, 4, 5, 6, 7, $800 on all this movement or more, depending on what box you moved on, right? So that's, obviously basic math. And a box will only print once it moves 5 points, right? If it moves 5 points in the opposite direction, it will print a green box. Because Renkos measures price movement. They do not measure time. And Renkos are actually useless if it's been more than 24 hours. So if you're looking at data like from yesterday or from last week, do not believe it because they can't repaint for a long period of time over the last couple of weeks. So that's why anything above or beyond 24 hours, it's basically useless data. The only way to really test if this strategy works for you is by forward testing. But if we're looking at data today, then Renkos would still be fresh. Renkos can repaint If it's been more than 24 hours, that is normal. So that's why the best way is to for a test, because like I said, it measures time. So basically, I love using it with Renkos. So basically, how I personally do it is, for example, let's say it breaks below this gravity line, which is this blue line right there, and all the ribbons turns red, and it's also below this mid line. So therefore, I'm going to enter a sell position. And then, after I'm going to enter a sell position, let's say right there. And then after that, I'm going to write it to this bottom band. Right there, and I'm going to be trailing my stop loss. I'm going to keep my stop loss really tight, maybe about right there or so. So basically what I do is, let's say I do a horizontal line. So I basically enter right there, right? I'll place my stop loss right there. I don't physically place a stop loss, I'm just monitoring it. So meaning I like to trail it. So as price moves down, I'm gonna trail it right there. Price move down again, right there, then right there, right there, and I would have got stopped out at right there. So that's how I trail my stop loss. I usually trail it either by 1 or 2 bricks. Also, guys, you also cannot actually back test and replay mode with Renko, same with Hike and Ashy. And if you do try to automate this, you will see the strategy report showing you insane numbers. Don't believe it. Strategy report are not accurate with Renkos. So don't get too excited at what you see on the strategy report, just letting you know in advance. But I am actually an expert with Renkos. Same thing, green box prints, I'm gonna trail it until a red box prints. That's how I basically do my stop loss. I'm just monitoring it and just exiting it manually. So that's just one strategy I do like to use. And if I showed you my Ninja Trader Live account. I did actually got I think $20,000 to $30,000. I did get $60,000 mainly from using Swift Algo X on automation. Then I was able basically to scalp using NQ couple contracts couple contracts, basically to 90,000. And same thing here. You can breaks above the midline. You can enter a trade, trail it to at least near the top of the band. And same thing, but like I said, this will be chop. I only do this at the start of the New York session, or at least around there. Like I'll probably would have got in right there. You can also change it to box size 4 if you want, box size 3, it just depends. I probably would only do box size 4 or 5, is what I would say. And you can also change the deviation of the band. Let's say you want to do, let's say 3. You can obviously do 3. So the band does shrink. So if the line breaks below this band, you can actually take a sell position, and then you can actually write the rave all the way down there. And then if it breaks above, you can write basically trail your stop loss all the way to this top band. And same thing. So it just depends whatever strategy works best for you. I do have a couple of members in the group using the Gravity Stratos, and they have different strategies. You can also use this on the regular candlesticks as well. Maybe let's look at the 5-minute time frame. It just looks a lot more cleaner with Renkos. So with this one, another strategy you can use is that sometimes I may actually uncheck all these. Also, you can also check on the Gravity Cloud PID 1 to 6 if you want to show nice green with no lines. You can also do that method as well. And then let's say I'm gonna check this too. Let's see this one. There we go. So sometimes you can also trail by the gravity line. So if it breaks above, you can trail. So let's say it broke above this gravity line right there. So I'll be placing my stop loss right there. And as you know, price moves up, you can just keep trailing your stop loss until probably got stopped out right there. Um, and you can also use these lines really as stop losses as well. So let's say a red candle breaks out right there. You can place your stop loss at this line right there. And then as price moves down, you can keep trailing your stop loss. And then you probably would have obviously got stopped out probably at that point right there. So you can still gain a lot of money out of this as well. And you can also use this in combination with the smart money concept toolkit by Legacy. You can also use that as well as extra confluences, but this is meant for manual trading. And I don't really like to see these buy or sell labels on this as well. So you can decrease that. And then you can use this as extra confluences, like say it's above this smart line, it's just green, so extra confluence for buy. It's above this trend ribbon, also green, so it's telling me bullish buyers are in control of the market. And you can also use these as support lines and resistance lines as well. So meaning if price comes back and touches it, you can actually enter for a trade if it touches it, meaning it's retesting it. Or if price comes back, you can actually for example, you can actually enter a long position once it touches, and then just place your stop loss really tight, and then you can write it to the next resistant line right there. That's basically how I use it. I use these two in combination with each other. um, so sometimes I may also use this smart line trim ribbon as extra confluences, and sometimes I may actually use these support and resistance levels as well. But most of the time I'm basically using the Renkos, but you can test it out, decide. Always test this first on a demo account first, because trust me, you're not going to get it perfect on an actual eval account or on a fund account. So I would highly recommend testing this first on a demo account, at least for a couple of days, even a week, until you get used to it, until you find your own rhythm. But I like to do this mostly at New York session urban because of that volume. I don't really use this during Asian session because, as you can see, the volume is just so low. So the volume does pick up during probably pre-market, just before New York session starts. Then the volume does actually die off, or you can actually see if you can do it on the 1 minute time frame and see. But that's basically one strategy I'm using. Like this is a really good one right there. So price breaks above, you can actually use this trend line as a trailing stop loss. So price breaks below, and then you trail it until probably right there price broke above it. Or you can just keep trailing it until the body closes above this Q line. I meant not Q line, I meant above this gravity line, right? So like this, price breaks above, you can trail it, trail it barely until right there or right there with the body close just below it. Um, so those are basically two different strategy methods. I was thinking about turning this into a strategy method, but it doesn't seem like it's actually profitable with Renkos. It seems like it just gave me too many, too fast signals. I think it's a lot better in terms of manual trading it. But this is actually a little bit more for advanced trading. But I'm probably going to be using this more and more on my personal live account instead, rather than doing Swift Algo X on my live account. Swift Algo X will still be on my Topstep account, but I'll be using this on my personal live account, and basically more to come. Probably in my next week's video, I'll also show you my orb automation strategy as well. But if you do find value in this video, make sure you do drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I do push out weekly uploads every Friday. And I do a lot of YouTube shorts with my updates on my cash account and my prop firm account. And I also have a Tradeify eval account, and that's actually $1,000 away from passing that as well. So other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hey guys, I actually forgot to actually mention something, so I'm making like an additional side note at the end of this video. So going back to the Swift Algo X, give you an example. So so it's supposed to actually close at this take profit line, but it actually closed at candle close. There's no way we can actually fix that. Unfortunately, it's not actually a ConFlux issue. It's just how TradingView interprets the execution. So it's actually just the TradingView's logic. Changing the script, we tried multiple times. Nothing we can really do about that. So it is what it is. You can, like I said, you can go to Topstep, settings, and just add a position brackets to there. Or another way you can do it is if you go back, change the exit method from indicated exit just to simple take profit and stop loss, and then make sure you choose points or ticks, whichever one you want, and then you can just put your values right there. You just have to look at the chart and see what's the most common values that's being hit. So long. So I think 50 points is too much. Let's try 30 points. Give it a few seconds to load. So I think 30 points is good. So it entered a long position, close TP, into short, then close TP. So that's just another way you can just go about it. But I just want to actually let you guys know on that advisor recommendation, but that's completely up to you. But other than that, I'll catch you guys next week.